Good morning, 10th standard. Welcome back. Today we will start with chapter number 4 from your NCERT textbook. It's quadratic equations. And as the chapter's name suggests, we will be studying about quadratic equations in this chapter. Now, in your junior classes, you have studied about linear equations. So this year, we will be learning about quadratic equations in one variable. And before we start with questions, let's write down the definition. Definition for a quadratic equation. So if px, now this is the representation for a polynomial in x. So if px is a quadratic polynomial, I hope you remember what a quadratic polynomial is. Polynomial with degree 2. So polynomial in which the highest power of the variable is 2 is called a quadratic polynomial. So if we represent that quadratic polynomial by px, what does that mean? That means that px is of the form. Now I'm going to write down the standard form for a quadratic polynomial: ax square plus bx plus c. The polynomial is in x because the variable used is x. I've got a term containing x square, a term containing x, a term without the variable which is the constant term, and here a, b, c, they are real numbers, means these are constants, and a is not equal to 0. A is the leading coefficient. Leading coefficient cannot be 0. If a becomes a 0, then the term with x square will be eliminated. This term will vanish, and if this term vanishes, we don't have quadratic polynomial anymore. It will be just a linear polynomial. So it is important that a is not equal to 0. The leading coefficient cannot be 0. And it can take any value, any real number. If we have a polynomial of this form, a quadratic polynomial, then px equal to 0 means if I take the polynomial equal to 0, this polynomial equal to 0, I get a quadratic equation. So this is what I will have: quadratic polynomial equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Let us take a look at a few examples. 2x square plus x minus 300 equals to 0. 4x minus 3x square plus 2 equals to 0. 1 minus x square plus 300 equals to 0. Now if you look at these examples, you will observe that all these equations, they contain the term with x square. So I have a term with x square in each of these. So this is a quadratic equation. So all of these are quadratic equations. But this one is in standard form because the terms are in descending order of powers. I've got the term with x square at the first place, then the term with x, then the constant term. But in these two are not in standard form because the order of the terms is not with descending order of powers. Here I've got the term with x first, the term with x square afterwards, the constant is at the end. In this case, again, I don't have a term containing x, which is completely fine because I'm concerned with the term containing square power of the variable. So this is important. I have this term, I don't have the term with x, the constants have not been simplified, so this is not standard form. So in questions, while you're working, it's important that you express your quadratic equations in standard form. So note that down. While solving questions, a quadratic equation must be in standard form. And before we do the exercise 4.1, we are going to do example number 2 from page number 72 of your textbook. Example 2, page 72 of your NCERT textbook. Now the question is, check whether the following are quadratic equations. Now it's a simple question, but you cannot give the answer just by looking at the equation. You have to simplify your equation and reduce it to standard form, and then see whether or not it is a quadratic equation or not. And you will see it in the parts that we are going to solve. Let's do first part. We have x minus 2 whole square plus 1 equals to 2x minus 3. Now if we just simply look at it, we cannot tell what kind of equation this is, because the quadratic equation contains a term with x square, a term with x, and a constant term. The term with x square is necessary, the other two could be missing, completely fine. So let's solving the square, whole square, a square plus b square minus 2ab. The rest of the expression is same, so this is x square plus 4 minus 4x plus 1. Let's bring these terms to left hand side and then simplify. X square, now the terms with x, so minus 6x, and now the constants. So this is 8 equals to 0. So a term with x square, a term with x, and a constant term. So yes, this is a quadratic equation. Let's do the next part. Second part, we have x into x plus 1 plus 8 equals to x plus 2 into x minus 2. Again, before you answer, simplify. Let's simplify. Distributive property, x square plus x plus 8 equals to, this is a plus b, a minus b. So I will have a square minus b square, identity. Left hand side as such, right hand side simplified. Now let's bring all terms to one side. Minus x square plus 4 equals to 0. Now x square get cancelled. I am left with x plus 12 equals to 0. Is this a quadratic equation? No, I don't have a term with square power. So this is not a quadratic equation. Let's do third part. We have x into 2x plus 3 equals to x square plus 1. Simplify before you give your answer. Distributive property, multiply x with both terms. 2x square plus 3x equals to x square plus 1. Bring all terms to left hand side. Right hand side should be 0. 2x square plus 3x minus x square minus 1 equals to 0. So on simplification, term with x square, term with x, the constant term equals to 0. So this is a quadratic equation. Let's do fourth part. We have x plus 2 raised to the power 3 equals to x cube minus 4. Now if you look at this, you might think that it is a cubic polynomial, but we will not answer before simplification. Let's simplify. I hope you remember the identity for solving the cube of a binomial, a plus b whole cube. So you will have a cube plus b cube plus 3ab into a plus b. Right hand side as such. Simplifying this, x cube plus 8 plus 6x into x plus 2. Right hand side as such. Further simplifying our left hand side, this comes out to be x cube plus 8 plus 6x square plus 12x equals to x cube minus 4. Now let's bring all terms to left hand side. X cube plus 8 plus 6x square plus 12x minus x cube plus 4 equals to 0. Simplify. The term with x cube gets cancelled, and now I have 6x square. Remember, express your answer in standard form. Start with the term with highest power of the variable. So the highest power here is square, so I've written the term with x square first. Then I will write the terms with x. So 12x. Now the constants. This is equal to 0. If you want, you can take 6 common from here, and then that 6 goes to right hand side, but you can answer right here. X square, term with x, a constant term. So yes, this is a quadratic equation. Now based on example number 2, you will be doing question number 1 of the exercise yourself. In case you have problem with any of the parts, just let me know. I will share the solution with you. Now we are moving on to question number 2 of the exercise. Exercise 4.1, it's on page number 73-74. In question number 2, you have to represent the situations in the form of quadratic equations. Now when we have learned to identify whether a given equation is a quadratic equation or not, we have been given some real life situations, and you have to express those real life situations in the form of quadratic equations. So let's do first part. The first part is the area of a rectangular plot is 528 meters square. Area is given. The length of the plot in meters is 1 more than twice its breadth. We need to find the length and breadth of the plot. Now remember, we are doing quadratic equations in one variable. So you have to make sure that when you are doing problem sums, you use one variable. In case you begin with two variables, you have to later on reduce them or convert them in such a way that the equation formed is in a single variable. Your quadratic equation should be in single variable. You cannot have two variables. In this question, there is a relation given between length and breadth, and the area is given. So we will start by assuming the length and breadth, and then use the area to make our quadratic equation. So first part, let breadth of plot be x meters. Now why I have taken the breadth first? Because the length is 1 more than twice the breadth. So 1 more than twice the breadth. Double it, add 1. So I had to let breadth first. Therefore, the length will be equal to 2x plus 1 meters. 1 more than twice the breadth. Twice breadth is 2x. 1 more will be plus 1. Now I have length and breadth. According to question, area is equal to 528 meters square, and the area is given by length multiplied by breadth. So length multiplied by breadth, 2x plus 1 multiplied by x equals to 528. Simplify. 2x square plus x, product of the binomial with monomial. 528 transposed to left hand side, right hand side is 0, and this is in standard form. Term with x square, term with x, and the constant term. So this is the situation represented in the form of a quadratic equation. As for now, you don't have to solve it, you just have to make equations. We will be getting to the solving part in the later exercises. Now let us take a look at the second part of the question. The second part is the product of two consecutive positive integers is 306. We need to find the integers. So what we will do? To find the integers, we have to let the integers, and the integers are consecutive positive integers. Now the word positive here does not matter. The word that matters is the integers are consecutive, means one after the other. So how do we let those integers? So if we take first integer as x, the next will be x plus 1. If we had to take one more, it will be x plus 2. Then the next will be x plus 3. Keep adding 1 and you will obtain as many consecutive integers as you want. Let the consecutive integers be x and x plus 1. This is used to assume the integers. The word positive will help us identify the answer. So in case while solving, which we will learn later in the chapter, while solving, if you obtain a negative answer, that answer will not be accepted. It will be rejected because in the question the integers are given to be positive. So positive does not matter while assuming. While assuming, it matters what type of integers are consecutive integers or consecutive even integers or consecutive odd integers, because based on that we assume the integers, and the word positive and negative will help us to identify the correct answer. Now we move on to what's given in the question. According to question, the product of these integers is 306. So product is 306. Let's write it in mathematical form. First integer into the second one equals to 306. Simplify and express your answer in standard form. So this is a quadratic equation for the given situation. Moving on, third part. Rohan's mother is 26 years older than him. The product of their ages in years 3 years from now will be 360. We would like to find Rohan's present age. Now, when they are saying that we would like to find Rohan's present age, they are indicating which value to assume. So you begin by assuming Rohan's present age. And then using Rohan's present age, we can write down Rohan's mother's age. Further in the question, they are referring to the product of their ages in the future, 3 years from now. So once we have the present ages for Rohan and his mother, we will write down their future ages. And using their future ages, we will make quadratic equation. Let's write the answer. Let Rohan's present age be x years. They have given that the age is in years. Therefore, his mother's age. In the first sentence, it's given that Rohan's mother is 26 years older than him. So 26 years older than Rohan means her age is 26 years more than Rohan. X plus 26 years is his mother's age. We need their ages 3 years from now. So this is their future ages. So we are going in the future, their ages will increase. Rohan's age after 3 years will be x plus 3 and his mother's age. This will be, presently she is x plus 26 years old, going in the future by 3 years, increase the age by 3. So this becomes x plus 29 years. Now let us see what the product is. Before we make the equation, let's quickly go over the question again. They had given that Rohan's mother is 26 years elder than Rohan. So we use that statement to let the ages. the first sentence. Rohan's age is taken as X. Mother is 26 years older than him. Mother's age will be X plus 26 years. Then they talk about their future ages 3 years from now. So before proceeding further, we find their future ages. And if you look at the statement further, you will see that they are saying that the product of their future ages is 360, and that condition will be used to make the equation. So now let us make the equation. According to question, the product of their future ages is 360, and we have obtained the future ages as x plus 3, x plus 29 equals to 360. Simplify. After simplification, you will get the answer as x square plus 32x plus 87 minus 360 equals to 0. Expressing the answer in standard form, all terms on one side, right hand side is 0. First we have the term with x square, then we have the term with x, and then we have the constant term. So this is the quadratic equation representing the given situation. Let's move on to the fourth part. The fourth part is a train travels a distance of 480 kilometers at a uniform speed. So you have been given the distance traveled by the train. Further, if the speed had been 8 kilometers per hour less, if the speed is reduced, then it would have taken 3 hours more to cover the same distance. So if the speed is reduced, the train takes 3 hours more to cover the same distance. We need to find the speed of the train. So they have again indicated what we need to find out, and we will start by assuming the same. Let's write our answer. Let speed of train be x kilometers per hour. We have been given that the distance traveled is 480 kilometers. Therefore, now this is given, speed we assumed, distance is given, and in the question they are talking about change in speed and change in time. So we need both. We assumed the speed, distance is given. Using these two, we will find out the time taken. The time taken is given by distance over the speed. So this will be 480 by x. And the time taken will be in hours. Now let us see what they are asking us to do. They want us to change the speed. The speed has to be reduced. So what we will do is we will write down the new speed. The speed is reduced. Earlier it was x, so now it will be x minus 8. The speed has to be reduced by 8 kilometers per hour. And then the new time. The distance traveled is same. There is no change in the distance covered. The distance is still 480. No change. So new time will be distance over new speed. This will be 480 over x minus 8 hours. And now we will use the statement where they tell us how long it takes in the second case. The time taken in the second case is 3 hours more than the original time. So according to question, when the speed reduces, the time taken is 3 hours more. 3 hours more than the original time. So originally the train was taking this time, and when the speed is reduced, the train takes this time, and this time is 3 hours more than this time. So let's write this in the form of an equation. New time is 3 hours more than original time. So the new time is 480 over x minus 8 equals to 3 hours more than original time. So original time plus 3. Original time is 480 over x plus 3. Let's simplify. So I have 480 over x minus 8 minus 480 upon x equals to 3. So I'm going to simplify this and then bring 3 to this side. So taking the LCM, I'll be using the butterfly method. The product of these two becomes the LCM. For the numerators, cross multiply. So 480x cross multiplying 480 into x minus 8, right hand side is 3. Be very careful with the simplification. 480x minus 480x minus becomes plus. This becomes 3840. In the denominator I have x square minus 8x equals to 3. Now I am transposing this to right hand side and simplifying my numerator. These terms get cancelled. I get 3840 equals to 3 multiplied with x square minus 8x. Simplifying 3x square minus 24x. Let's take this to this side, and my left hand side is left with nothing, so it will be 0. So therefore the quadratic equation is 3x square minus 24x minus 3840 equals to 0. If you want, you can simplify further because all these 3 are multiples of 3. So let's take 3 common. So I am left with x square minus 8x minus 1280 equals to 0. This 3 will go to right hand side. It will appear in the denominator. This will be 0. So the equation that I have is x square minus 8x minus 1280 equals to 0. And that's all with the exercise.